Right now at noon, extreme cold warnings being issued out to our west for Vernon, Richland, Grant, and Crawford counties at the top of the hour. Everybody else underneath an extreme cold watch. How cold we get as we end the work week in the full forecast.
Plus, President Trump calling for immediate negotiations to acquire Greenland during his big speech in Davos. How European leaders are reacting. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Spreiter. We're dealing with slick conditions after another round of snow overnight, and now we're preparing for dangerously cold temperatures and wind chills. Meteorologist Blaze Keller starts us off with the first warn forecast, and boy, it's lighting up like a Christmas tree on that map behind you.
That's right. We got an extreme cold watch here in the kind of blue-green. New at the top of the hour, extreme cold warnings. They're being pushed to your phone if you have our First Warn weather app. For Vernon, Richland, Grant, and Crawford counties, that will expire at 11 a.m. on Friday and begin late Thursday night, whereas the extreme cold watch, because this cold is going to stick through Friday into Saturday and Sunday, lasts until noon on Saturday. Let's quickly take a look at Radar 3000 because I do want to touch on the snow that is beginning to move on in Grant County. You are underneath a winter weather advisory, the only one in our coverage area at this hour. We find some light snow pushing through Gays Mills, Prairie du Chien, into Richland Center, up into the panhandle of Vernon County, as well as hugging the Wisconsin River for the most part, staying north of Fenimore. We'll continue to watch as that snow chance makes its way into more of central Wisconsin as we head further into the afternoon and into the evening hours. But again, our attention is on that dangerous cold that we are expecting as we go into especially Friday. Wind chill values 40 to almost 50 degrees below zero. But what about our actual air temperatures? And is there any relief from this cold in sight? We'll take a look, Josh, in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze. Thank you. Track the forecast for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. You can download it for free in your phone's app store by searching WISC Weather. New developments in the case against the former Sun Prairie West Dean of Students. Robert Gilkey-Messiger has pleaded guilty to a federal charge. As part of the plea, he admits to messaging a female student and arranging a secret meeting at the school. He also admitted to asking for and receiving naked and sexually suggestive photos and videos of the student. On the state level, he still faces 15 separate child sex crime charges. He pleaded not guilty to those in September.
So the sentencing process is still down the road, actually. So the document filed in courts was the plea agreement between the government and the defendant and potentially binding the judge. There still needs to be a change of plea hearing. Federal courts are required to directly speak with the defendant to ensure that their guilty plea is knowing.
A sentencing date has not yet been confirmed. Gilkey-Messiger could face 15 to 30 years behind bars. We're learning more about what it would take to build the proposed QTS data center facility in DeForest. Village engineers presented an assessment last night focusing on the impact of water, sewer, roads, and traffic. The engineers say the village can support the data center, but it would require major upgrades. The developer would cover those costs. The data center is expected to use about 125,000 gallons of water daily, roughly 15% of the village's total usage.
The village may consider deed restricting the lands to a reasonable maximum daily water use to serve as a guardrail for the data center development.
Stormwater runoff is also drawing attention. Plans include detention basins and runoff controls to protect nearby wetlands. Plans to renovate the Veterans Memorial Coliseum are taking a big step forward. The county has accepted a bid to renovate the Coliseum from Frank Productions. The project would bring nearly $100 million in private investment to upgrade the site. Frank Productions was the only group to submit a bid for the public-private partnership. The company owns venues including the Sylvie, the High Noon Saloon, and the Majestic. They also handle bookings for the Orpheum, Bree Stevens Field, and Camp Randall. Frank Productions is owned by Live Nation, which also owns Ticketmaster. President Trump reiterated his determination to take control of Greenland during his highly anticipated address at the World Economic Forum in Switzerland. Here's Natalie Brand.
Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland?
President Trump took the stage in Davos with his push to acquire Greenland looming over the international conference.
It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it, and improve it.
During his address, he didn't hold back, saying the island is critical for U.S. national security, adding he wants immediate negotiations.
This would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance.
The president said for the first time he would not use force.
I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
But he also issued this warning.
You can say yes, and we will be very appreciative, or you can say no, and we will remember.
President Trump is expected to have a number of meetings with European leaders who have been standing with Denmark in opposition to his Greenland plans. During his speech, the president took swipes at Europe and NATO.
We'll be there for them 100%, but I'm not sure that they'd be there for us. If we gave them the call, gentlemen, we are being attacked.
NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte has tried to de-escalate tensions.
I think President Trump is right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic. We know that the sea lanes are opening up. We know that China and Russia are increasingly active in the Arctic.
Danish officials are not attending the World Economic Forum, but the prime minister said while the country is ready to discuss security, negotiating sovereignty is off the table. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
During his address, President Trump mentioned he plans to meet with the Ukrainian president to discuss the ongoing war with Russia. Coming up next on News 3 Now Noon, why Lululemon is putting some of its leggings from store shelves, and how a buy now, pay later company plans to help renters.
Wall Street had its worst day since October after markets tumbled Tuesday. It comes as President Trump is not backing down from threats to slap new tariffs on European allies in his push to acquire Greenland. The president's bid is expected to be a major topic when he meets with global and business leaders at the World Economic Forum today and tomorrow in Davos, Switzerland. A firm is expanding into the housing market. The Buy Now, Pay Later company is partnering with New York-based Isuzu on a pilot program that would allow tenants to split their monthly rent into 2 equal payments. A spokesperson says approved renters who apply through Isuzu will receive a 0% interest loan from a firm to be repaid in 2 biweekly payments. No word on if the company plans to expand the pilot program. Buy Now, Pay Later company Zip also offers a rent payment plan, according to its website. And Lululemon has pulled its new Get Low leggings from its North American websites after customers complained the fabric was see-through and not squat-proof. The Canada-based company confirmed to CBS News that it temporarily paused online sales in the region to evaluate user feedback. The leggings are still for sale in stores and on the web in other markets, including Europe, where they appear to be listed for around $114 US. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
After a rough day on Wall Street yesterday, let's take a look at the current stock numbers at this hour. The Dow is up 155 points, NASDAQ down almost 16, and the S&P 500 is up almost 20. Our call for action volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. Call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Pam will have today's farm numbers next, and Blaze is tracking that first warn forecast. And later on Live at 4, where Madison is celebrating new homes going up in the city. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee for the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Busy day for a lot of Wisconsin farmers. They're down at the Monona Terrace Convention Center. It's Ag Day 2026, and no limit on the items that they're looking at as far as policy that's still being discussed on at the state capitol. My assistant, Stephanie Hoff, is there. I'll bring you an update on that tomorrow. What we're focused in on are future meetings that you might want to enjoy. On Tuesday of next week, we've got the Ag Outlook Forum that's going to be on the UW Ag campus, the Union Hall, so please think about joining us for that. Looking a little farther out, we also have have the Wisconsin Corn Soy Expo. That's going to be the end of next week. That has really turned into a premier show where we'll have probably more than 2,000 of our Wisconsin corn and soybean growers that are going to be at the Kalahari Resort. They've got keynote speakers coming from literally across the United States to try to help farmers figure out what their bottom line's going to have to look like to find profitability in 2026. I'll see you there. Then another workshop I haven't gotten a chance to touch on much, the Soil Health Workshop that's being hosted free of charge for farmers. This one's on February 5th. It's going to be down by the UW Whitewater Community Engagement Center. I've been to this one before, and I'll be your moderator again this year. It is fabulous. They'll be focused in on rotationally grazing, taking a look at not only the seed you want to look at, but also the fencing you want to look at, sharing one-on-one experiences. It's always better to learn from somebody else's mistakes than make them yourselves. And as I said, it's free of charge to farmers. You can find it on their Facebook page, Jefferson County Soil Builders, and I'll plan on seeing you there. Also, don't forget, babies, barnyard babies are popping up. I've got a few little beefer barnyard babies that I wanted to show you today. Thank you to my buddy Dave Adams down in Walworth County and a buddy of mine up in Shawano County for sharing these little beef babies. If you've got babies that are starting to pop up in your barns, send them my way, and I'll be sure to share them with people on News 3 as well as through social media. Keep a smile on your face. Markets are putting a little bit of a smile on our face today as far as the uptrend that we're seeing in some of our grain. Soybeans in particular, in overnight trade, we're doing pretty good. Even the dairy complex still holding its own. Some of that may be trying to get ahead of the proposed tariffs that the president is still talking about. And now we know that Canada and China are also working more on trying to strike relationships for everything from canola oil, canola meal, right on through to automobiles. So those are the kinds of things that market people are keeping an eye on. Dairy today in Chicago, the barrel cheese is unchanged, 135 3/4. But again, the 40-pound black up 2.5 today to 136. Double A butter nickel stronger on Wednesday to $1.46 per pound. That is almost a dime higher now, Josh, just in this week's action. So like I said, something's going on. I've got a dairy analyst joining me tomorrow in my early show. I'll try to relay whatever information I get right on to you.
Can we take those numbers and that energy and up our temperatures, please? Because that's what I'm really thinking about right now. It's that cold.
I know.
We need to manifest
ready
it.
For this one.
All right, Pam. Well, you stay warm. Time now for your certified most accurate forecast with First Warn meteorologist Blaze Keller. Blaze, I know you're just the messenger, but I'm tired of this.
Yeah, it has been a very interesting January. We started off cool, and then we got warm, 40s, 50s. And now I think we're going to be ending January on the cooler than average side, to say the least. And I think this bleeds over into the start of February. Today, some snow is set to return as we head into the afternoon and evening, but I think all of our attention is Friday through Sunday. That's when we are expected to be very cold, especially Friday. Temperatures may not even get above 0 degrees with wind chill values much colder than that. And over the next 10 days, because of this cold, we aren't expecting a whole lot in the way of snow. But believe it or not, Madison, we've actually accumulated nearly 14 inches of snow throughout the month of January. So where's our next round of snow? Speaking of it, we have to look back towards I-90 from Sioux Falls into the Austin, Minnesota area. This is going to be making its way further towards us as we go over the next several hours. This may bring some low visibilities, an additional 1 to 2 inches of snow on the light and fluffier side. It may also cause some winter weather advisories and possibly some snow squalls. So stay with News 3 now. We will keep you updated, but most of that snow is going to hold off until we go into about the mid to late afternoon hours. This may impact your evening commute, especially for several hours. And then as we go into the late evening, overnight, that's when the snow will start to taper off. We start to usher in the very cold temperatures, and those wind chill values could be as low as 45 degrees waking up on Friday. Friday is looking to be the coldest over the next 7 to 10 days, over the stretch of cold that we are anticipating as well. So here in this blue right here, this blue-green, this is our cold weather watch. This is until Saturday at noon. In the dark blue here, this is our extreme cold warning, which was just issued at the top of the noon hour for Vernon, Richland, Crawford, and Grant counties for now. A few folks have been asking, especially in Dane County, are we going to be put in an extreme cold warning? I imagine we will. However, and I do thank the National Weather Service for this in Milwaukee, they tend to be like us. They don't like to get folks to overreact. They like to play it safe. That's what we like to do here, never making it seem worse than it is. So they're going to wait maybe by later this evening into the start of Thursday, getting the latest round of data. Do we continue to see those really, really cold wind chills that we would then have to be in that cold weather warning? So we'll likely be put in it, but for now, the National Weather Service is just going to wait maybe a few more hours to get some of that afternoon data. But you can always get those alerts sent directly to your phone or on our Facebook page. If you don't have the First Warn Weather app, you can download it now and you will get those alerts sent directly where you live. This is likely what it is going to feel like as we are waking up on Friday morning, between 35 to 45 degrees below zero. And even as we head into the afternoon, still feeling 25 to 35 degrees below zero. I would be shocked if schools, at the very least, are not delayed, possibly closed on Friday. And again, you can find them at the bottom of your screen by tuning in throughout the rest of this week if they start to come in early. And of course, we always have the school closures on our website as well. When was the last time we when we hung out below zero for a daytime high? We have to go back to December 23rd of 2022. But interestingly enough, January is actually the most, is the month that we actually see the days where we don't get above zero the most. So we're likely looking to stay below zero on Friday. That maybe even leads into Saturday as well. But those overnight lows, that's just the temperatures. That is not even taking into account wind chill. And again, little to no snow over the next 7 to 10 days. Josh, I was saying this over the weekend when we started to kind of see the cold and started to really probably say it's not going to go away. This is happening towards the end of January, which may lead us to having that 5K on Lake Mendota. That is the only good thing out of this, is this ice is really going to thicken up and probably stay thick through the start of February.
Yeah, I think of ice fishers, anybody with those winter activities, the snow's sticking around, so I guess we're trying to be positive.
We got to put a positive spin on it, yeah.
There's something. It's good for the winter economy in Wisconsin. Exactly. Thank you, Blaze. Up next, Angie Horkin with the Wisconsin Beef Council is back in studio. She'll show us a Mediterranean-style meal that can be made in minutes. We're back now with Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council, and January is always a tough month, right? You're looking for some comfort food, but you're also trying to be on the healthier side, and you're really helping us with some protein for this one, too.
I am. I picked protein-packed recipes.
Love this.
For this time of year, and a lot of fresh vegetables incorporated in with lean beef cuts. So we have so many beef cuts that are USDA lean. So look for loin or round in the name when you're shopping for like steaks or roasts, and then ground beef. So a couple of our ground beef options are approved lean per USDA. So I have here like a really lean 90, you can find a 90% lean in the supermarket, or a 93, and I think this was a 96. So that means that it only has 4% fat.
Extra lean.
Very lean. So when you brown it up in your skillet, there won't be hardly any drippings to drain off. So I like using that ground beef in recipes where maybe you don't have that option.
Yeah.
So like you put raw ground beef into like stuffed peppers or something like that. But this time of year, I love it too because it's so high in protein and low in fat.
And I love the pasta intermixed in there too.
So this is one of my favorite Beef Council recipes. It's called a Greek-style beef and cheese ravioli.
Yum.
It's almost a one-dish meal. You kind of do it all in here other than cooking your pasta separately. But I started with a pound of that lean ground beef, browned it up, and then I added in the cooked, I have tortellini. So I did cheese tortellini.
Which is
love
delicious.
That. Yeah.
Yes.
But cheese tortellini, cheese ravioli, cook that per its package instructions on the side, and then you just throw that in cooked. Because then you're going to kind of just heat everything up. I've got about half of a can of whole black olives in here, and then 2 cans of diced tomatoes, like the Italian style with the basil, oregano, garlic flavoring. And then add in, when it's done, because you kind of cook it a little thicken, and then when it's about done, throw in some fresh spinach.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And I just did a coarse chop on that. And that's really all of our ingredients. So 5 ingredients.
Simple.
And we're going to add some feta cheese.
Well, you got to do that.
Yeah, because it's Greek. It's our Greek-style beef and cheese. So the recipe on the website says 30 minutes. I think you can do it a little faster than that. So perfect weeknight meal, 39 grams of protein per serving.
Yum.
Nice, warm.
Look at
I
that.
would say this would definitely be kid approved, Get that spinach nice and wilted so they can't see it.
Got to get that feta on top of there.
Get that feta on top. Beeftips.com. Click on As Seen on TV, and the whole month of January I've got links to all of these great protein-packed recipes, plus a lot of other recipe collections, our nutrition page, 10 essential vitamins and minerals in a serving of beef, including, of course, protein.
Oh, this one is speaking to me, I can tell you that. Angie Horkin, Wisconsin Beef Council, as always, we thank you.
You're welcome.
Here's Blaze with a final check of your forecast.
A reminder, we are looking for some snow to return this evening. Grant County, you are underneath a winter weather advisory, but attention is, of course, on that extreme cold watch, extreme cold warning. Both will be in effect through Friday, especially Friday morning. That is when we're expecting those wind chill values to be anywhere between 35 to 45 degrees below zero, with temperatures staying below zero for a daytime high on Friday. A little bit better for the upcoming weekend. We'll at least get above zero, and the double digits return next week. Folks at home, we're not expecting a lot of snow, so this is really going to help that ice grow and hopefully stay thick throughout the next 7 to 10 days and into the start of February for that 5K on Lake Mendota.
You know it's bad when I'm looking forward to teens.
I know.
Thank you, Blaze. Thanks for watching The Bold and the Beautiful's next. We're back live at 4.